What's up, everyone? It's right here, and today we're back with another video, and today we're actually going to be talking about more Transformers Bumblebee, and we've been talking about Cybertron, and recently I've been wondering, what time period is the Cybertron scene set in? Is it set in, like, the time period of the war for Cybertron? That's basically, like, sort of like the official war going on between the two sides of Autobots and Decepticons in the biggest time period, and there's also the fall of Cybertron, and I'm wondering which two of these two are. Like, is it the fall or war? Because the fall of Cybertron is completely different. Cybertron has fallen, like there's no energy left, and it's basically when all the Autobots and Decepticons start leaving. But before we get into it, spoilers for the Bumblebee movie, because we're actually going to be talking about some scenes and stuff. So yes, spoilers for Bumblebee. Now let's get to see if this is actually the war or fall of Cybertron. So yes, guys, right now I'm wondering to myself, like, what is the time period of, like, the Cybertron scene for the Bumblebee movie? Because I was really wondering, is it, like, the fall of Cybertron now? Or is it, like, the war for Cybertron? Because if we actually hear the first clip, we actually got to hear pretty early on Cybertron, and Optimus Prime actually said this.
Cybertron has fallen. Get to the escape pods. There are other Autobots scattered across the galaxy. We must reach them if we hope to survive.
So that was really interesting because he said, like, Cybertron has fallen, we have to get to the escape pods to leave Cybertron so we can find those other Autobots. So I find that really interesting because I'm like, is it the fall of Cybertron then? Because he literally just said, like, the Cybertron has fallen, so does this mean that we're in the fall of Cybertron period? But let's move on to what else we actually heard so far when we get later on in the movie. So much later on in the Bumblebee movie, we'd actually get to see Bumblebee captured by Shatter and Dropkick and interrogated. But when he says nothing, Shatter tells Dropkick to finish him, and when Dropkick just like kicks Bumblebee, we actually get another message from Optimus Prime saying this might be actually like the war for Cybertron period instead of like the fall of Cybertron. Here we go.
We will fight on, regroup, rebuild, and retake our home. But we must find refuge first. You will travel to Earth. Once we've gathered the others, we'll join you. You must protect the planet. If the Decepticons find it, then our people are truly finished.
So yes, that's interesting because right off the bat, Optimus says that we will fight on and we'll actually like regroup, rebuild, and retake our home. This means that they'll probably be going back to Cybertron. So now, with all the evidence, let's get into my theory of if it's like the war for Cybertron or the fall of Cybertron. It's gonna be a good theory. Now, you guys are probably already saying to yourselves right now, I probably already know the time era for the Cybertron scene. It's the fall of Cybertron. All the Autobots are outnumbered, the Decepticons are forcing them to leave, but seems like there's a lot more reasons why the Autobots could be leaving. So after thinking about what Optimus Prime said, I've come up with a new theory. So let's get into it. Before we get into my theory, I'd actually like to talk about one thing about why the Decepticons and Autobots are actually forced to leave their homeworld, and thus will connect to my theory in a second. But the usual reason for video games and usually TV shows too is actually there's not enough energon. And if you're not sure what energon is, it's actually the lifeblood of the Transformers. So yes, there's really not enough energon going around or being produced by the core of Cybertron or wherever they get their energon, because there's so much warfare. All the energon is actually slowly running out because both sides are using so much of it, it's eventually going to run out. And that's the usual reason why the Autobots and Decepticons leave, because no more energon on their planet, and they have to go out into the stars to find more energon, because usually energon is found in other planets and stuff. So that's the general reason why they usually leave their planet, is because not enough energon is for either side, so they can't really fight without that energon because they'll die. So they really need energon. So I also think in the movie universe for this new reboot, there's not enough energon. It's slowly going to run out, but I think there is still energon. Since Optimus Prime is really sure that he's actually going to retake his home, I think there's a good stockpile left of energon still being produced. This is how it actually connects to my theory. So remember when Optimus Prime actually said there are other Autobots scattered across the galaxy? I definitely think he actually sent those Autobots out, mainly to tell the audience that we have other Autobots out there, that we're not the only ones, and to also tell you that there could be other Energon out there, because why else would he actually, like, send the Autobots out? Because they could really use, like, backup Autobots to actually help win the war, but seems like they could be scouting for Energon, because Energon is a key factor. If, like, one side doesn't have it, they'll become weaker and they'll die eventually if they don't have it, and that's, like, the upper hand for the, like, Decepticons or Autobots. So really, Energon is a key factor, and I feel like Decepticons would probably have their hands, like all of their hands probably on it. Like, they'll probably have a whole bunch of Energon deposits, like on Cybertron, in their possession or something. And I feel like the Autobots wouldn't have a lot of them. So I feel like that's why Optimus said we'll actually go out to the galaxy, try to find different planets, and try to find different Energon to actually bring it back to Cybertron so he can actually support our troops. So does this mean that Megatron is actually out in the galaxy looking for Energon for, like, his troops and stuff? Well, I'm not sure, because it seems like he will have had some of his top commanders with him, like Starscream, Soundwave, or Shockwave. It seems like one of them should have been with their leader, but I'm not sure. It could happen because he's not on Earth, he's not on Cybertron, but it seems like since it's like a new major reboot, they could, like, wait to save him and he's actually on Cybertron. So I do find this theory a little unlikely that he's, like, out in, like, the galaxy on his own. I feel like if he actually was out in the galaxy searching for Energon for the Decepticons, he'd probably have a few Decepticons with him. So yes, I do find it unlikely, but I just throw it out there for fun. That's not the only reason why I think, like, the Autobots actually left. I also feel like Optimus Prime, since a lot of people are wondering why did he leave Cybertron if he didn't need to, because he still needed to lead those Autobots. And, like, one reason I think he actually came to Earth, like, with 7 other Autobots is to really back up Bumblebee, because I'm sure he actually heard about Shatter and Dropkick maybe. And I feel like he also needs to regroup, because even the leader needs to take a break every once in a while. And he says we need to regroup, rebuild, and then retake our home. So I definitely think, like, those 7 Autobots are, like, the top Autobots, including Bumblebee. And they're just regrouping because in the first 3 minutes of the Cybertron scene, 2 Autobots were critically injured. One was blown in half and the other one was sent up into the air. So the Autobots aren't doing really well. So I definitely think they need to regroup on Earth and maybe find Energon there or not. But then I think they will be going back, so let's move on. So for my final verdict to see, like, if this is actually like the War for Cybertron period or like the Fall of Cybertron period, and my verdict is I definitely think this is actually the ending of, like, the War for Cybertron period, and we're actually getting started at the Fall of Cybertron. So I definitely think we're in the middle, like, in between. So I definitely think that, like, the War for Cybertron is definitely coming to a close, like, only a few more days and probably be, like, officially closed for whatever, like, days are for, like, Cybertron, and it'll be, like, the Fall of Cybertron, because it seems like since Autobots are evacuating, I feel like they would probably, like, regroup on Earth and then actually come back and they would actually fight. And I feel like we could see that in, like, the Cybertron movie, like the Fall of Cybertron, like the official one, because, like, if you compare Cybertron to, like, a lot of, like, comics, TV shows, and a whole bunch of other media, it seems like Cybertron is sort of looking like this, what you're seeing right here. It sort of looks like that when it's sort of like ending the War for Cybertron and officially, like, beginning the Fall of Cybertron, or in the middle of Fall of Cybertron. Because if you look at this Cybertron, it's a little blue and there's a little bit of orange, but, like, the planet is slowly, like, coming, like, apart. Like, it's coming apart because, like, it's about to become a wasteland because not enough Energon, the war is destroying the planet and it's about to become a wasteland. But if you actually look at, like, the Cybertron we actually get to see in Bumblebee, it actually does sort of look like this, because I know it's like you can't really see the blue, but a lot of other features remain. You can see, like, the planet is slowly coming apart. You can also see, like, some orange, a lot of orange. So I definitely think we're actually, like, in, like, maybe the middle of Fall of Cybertron, but I definitely think it would have been cool if we actually get to see the beginning of Fall of Cybertron. But yes, I definitely think we're actually, like, going to be seeing Fall of Cybertron, like, the official Fall of Cybertron in, like, the Cybertron movie. I think it would be a lot cooler and stuff, because it seems like Cybertron in the Bumblebee movie isn't too bad right now. If you actually look, like, these, like, side-by-side pictures, like, it's not a wasteland yet, and, like, I feel like the Fall of Cybertron would be close to a wasteland when it's, like, rounding up. So I definitely think we're in the middle, or, like, the beginning of Fall of Cybertron, and, like, War for Cybertron is, like, officially basically over now. now, and I definitely think we're like heading into fall of Cybertron now. So yes, I definitely think since Optimus said we'll go back and retake our home, definitely seems like there is time where like we'd actually get to see him go back, and it would still probably be like a good enough screen time to actually see huge battles for the fall of Cybertron. That's why I say this is sort of like the ending for War for Cybertron, because like really it seems like the streets are not destroyed like how Cybertron would look like in like the fall of Cybertron, or like when it's deserted and stuff. Seems like it's still intact. Seems like there's still lots of life. It seems like there's some energon still worth actually battling over. So I definitely think we're actually entering the fall of Cybertron or approaching the middle. So yes, let's move on to the ending, guys, because I definitely think that's my theory on like what time period is it for Cybertron. So guys, that's my theory. I think we're actually at the ending of like the war for Cybertron, and officially like in the beginning or in the middle of like the fall of Cybertron. And I feel like in the Cybertron movie, it can actually go like deeper in depth about Cybertron and the fall of Cybertron, and definitely some history about the Golden Age. That's like the best time for like the Transformers, Decepticons, and Autobots would get like they're all happy. They're not like fighting against each other. And there's also like the war for Cybertron and stuff, and that's like just the middle. And then of course the fall of Cybertron, which would probably be explored the most in the Cybertron movie of Autobots and Decepticons. So yes, I hope you actually enjoyed my theory today, and until next time guys, you're all awesome. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.